We're in the mountains of Ethiopia.
And this is our day 2 with our aardvark group going to the Simien Mountain National Park. Hiking in the Simien Mountains for about 4 hours. Camping.
So this is a single tent, very comfy sleeping bag, a nice blanket, all you need.
And I think you guys are gonna love this view and this whole adventure.
Been a lot of places in the world, but nowhere like Ethiopia. Best in Africa, Ethiopia #1.
Hey guys, welcome back to Dejene Ethiopia Tours. I'm Dejene host, and this is our day 2 with our aardvark group going to the Simien Mountain National Park. And today is really a great adventure day, so enjoy day 2. So our day 2 started with a very simple, we had early breakfast. I love the staff at the Go Hotel. They're very nice, they're friendly. They'll do anything for the customers. I like that. Then we had to check out from our rooms because we were gonna be camping up in the Simien Mountains for the night. And then also what we did was we left most of our bags in the hotel and then just took what we needed for the day and overnight. We got on our bus, we drove down to the Jewish community. Because this is a Jewish group from Israel, one of the things that we really wanted to do, that we arranged, was for us to pray with the Jewish community in Gondar with them before we went on our trip. Unfortunately, this year they wouldn't allow us to film, but we have footage from last year. You get a sense of how we prayed, how it looked, and the vibe. So we'll share that with you guys. But this footage is from last year, not this year. They wouldn't allow us to film, but they were very nice. They let us in. They gave us a tour. They showed us what they're doing, the feeding program and everything. So it was very, very nice. Just they didn't want us filming. Yeah, we need to go to a car. It's very late. One thing that happened this morning was one of our group members had to go back to Israel. So we were trying to find flights for her. And because of that, one of the group leaders, Miran, had to stay at the hotel with her and trying to figure out, taking her to the airport and stuff like that. So she had to miss this hiking with her. That was pretty sad. In the morning, I was not happy, but we had to do that. So then our long drive to the Simien Mountains starts. So it's about 3-hour drive. It can be longer depending on the bus and how fast you're going. But the view is beautiful. You're going through towns, you're going through different markets depending on different days. I personally love that drive. I don't sleep at all. In the middle, we'll stop for a little bit and you get to go into the fields, into the wild, and use the restroom. We're back on the bus. After about 2.5 hours of driving, you get to Dabark. That's where you pay to enter into the national park. A guide is assigned to you, a scout is assigned to you. We paid.
Hi, how are you? Welcome.
Got on our way, we went through the Dabark market. Now when you see everybody at the market, it's kind of fun, but also you see people are bringing one sheep to sell, a bunch of sheep, or like chickens or other things that they're selling. It's pretty amazing sight. I enjoy seeing that stuff. One of the things also for people to understand, this area that we're driving, it's rural Ethiopia. So this is pretty much what 85% of the country is like. We got up to the Simien Mountains.
We're getting off here and then we'll go.
We pick up our lunch, vegetable sandwich. It's like sauteed vegetables put into bread. We had a banana, an orange, and then also some water for everybody, a bunch of water because we're gonna be hiking for a while. Ababa is our guide for this hiking stuff, so Ababa. The flower. Ababa is flower.
Ababa is flower?
Yeah.
Ababa. Nice to see you. I hope you enjoy very good.
So we get directions from the guide, what we're gonna see, how we're gonna hike, and everything like that, how we need to stay together, you know, simple stuff, drink water, blah, blah, blah.
Plus, minus to reflect 4 hours. It's a campsite.
You know, whenever there's tourists over there, obviously people set up for some stuff you wanna buy, souvenirs and stuff like that.
I feel? How much is it? Yeah. Can I borrow? No, I got one. I'll buy another. How greedy? Yeah, can I please get this one?
Some people got to buy some stuff. Nice. It helps the community. I mean, it's very simple living up there, and it's nice if they get to sell to 1 or 2 people a day. But right now, there's not a lot of tourists, so it was very nice of them to buy something from them. We have to take some pictures. We get to meet our scouts, say hi to them. Nice pictures. Because we had a large group, we took 4. So there's always like 2 in the back, 2 in the front, walking. If a group is slower, they'll stay back and walk with them and stuff like that, so that everybody doesn't have to stay back. So one of the main questions I had with the group was, why do we have scouts which have weapons on them? So it's not really for like protection from people. It's mostly from animals, and they protect that area. So they make sure nothing is left behind. Everything is safe, and we don't do anything inappropriate also, but also so that people who live there don't bother you. The main thing is trying to give the community a way to earn money, so that there's a lot of people that are signed up to be scouts on them. You get assigned one after another, so you make a little bit of money every 2 months or so. Like the guide obviously is somebody that knows the routes, knows the animals, the trees, everything will explain to you, but the scouts are just there to protect the area, protect you from animals, from anybody. There's not really any people, but yeah.
Okay, ready? Let's get back. Not for a photo though.
No photo. We'll delete it after.
No. I'm really asking, please.
No, delete it. I'll only.
No.
No, just take it and we'll delete it.
No.
So our hike, I thought it would be 2.5 hours, maybe 3. Ended up being close to 4 hours. I mean, we were moving pretty slow. We weren't moving fast. I said to him, I thought it was supposed to be shorter. And he said, oh, I looked at the group and everybody's young, so I thought we would crush it, but we moved pretty slow. This national park, as you guys know, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this whole area is being protected by UNESCO. It's a way of preserving this area and maybe even adding or planting more trees and protecting the animals so that their numbers will increase back to what it should be. A while ago, I know that the Chelada baboons were having some difficulties, but now they have nobody threatening them. People living up there are not threatening them and stuff like that. So everything is good. They said their population is increasing.
Come on, Simien! She's a fun man. All this is very television.
More views. Every 20 minutes there's an amazing view, change of scenery. So we had a fantastic time.
Of Ethiopia. It's a beautiful sight. If you look this way, it's mountains as far as the eye can see. I've been a lot of places in the world, but nowhere like Ethiopia. Best in Africa, Ethiopia #1.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
We made it.
We have our lunch.
Come in this way.
Ethiopia is beautiful, guys. Ethiopia is truly beautiful.
Shout out the cameraman, he's running up these hills. Absolute animal.
We say this is hiking the Simien Mountains, but like the actual hikes in the Simien Mountains are like 5 days, 6 days, 9 days, 10 days hikes that you go all the way into the national park and you actually explore all that stuff. So ours is like, you know, we walked through the scenic areas, but that's not really the hike through the national park.
Made it.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Let's go.
No.
Made it.
Yeah.
Woo. Light work.
Yeah.
Light work, nothing.
Oh, you made it. Very good job.
We did it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
When we got to our campsite, they had already set up the tents for us. That was amazing. We had some doubles and we had singles, so everybody got to go around, take a look, choose the ones that they wanted, and settle in. The area we're using as our campsite, they told me that before COVID, there was supposed to be a lodge being built up there with some camping area and, you know, like a lodge. But then COVID happened, then we had, you know, our civil war and stuff like that. So the area has been abandoned, but it served as a great area for us to camp in.
You're here with Andres. So this is a single tent. Some people have, 4 people, 5 people. So I got here early. I worked hard on the hike. So I got the privilege to have a single. Very spacious indeed. It's a lovely accommodation. Very grateful for our hosts. Look inside here. Very comfy sleeping bag, a nice blanket, all you need.
The hike was great. We made it. Everybody's settled in. We had a picnic lunch. The view was amazing.
It was a long hike to get here. It was beautiful. Great company.
I'm happy. They're happy.
Very thankful. Stoked to be here. Hiked with my friend Shaya here.
Great hike.
And having a great time.
Welcome to our eating tent. This is where we're gonna be eating. And our kolo. This is roasted wheat, nuts, and stuff like that. Pretty cool. So I had told you guys that Mehran, one of our leaders, had to stay back because one of the group members was leaving. So we were very lucky to be able to find her a flight early on to go back to Israel. So she dropped her off at the airport, and we made arrangements for another car to pick her up and join us at the campsite because we really wanted her to join us. So that we were very lucky that all of that worked out and she was able to join us.
Has arrived to, I don't know where we are, Ethiopia? Simien Mountains.
And everybody was very excited to see her, as we had thought she wouldn't join us. And because it was actually her birthday, we had set up some wine. So when dinner was ready, everybody packed into the tent for the meal, which was pretty exciting because we were pretty hungry.
That's scenic right there.
So crazy.
I'm freezing tits.
Guys, they're bringing in vegetable soup. So you guys can take.
Then we had soup, starters. It was a pretty nice meal. As you can see, everybody's enjoying themselves. Some rice. I was scared they may not like the food up in the, like cooked up in the mountains, the whole thing. But we were very, very lucky. Great chef. So some chicken, pasta, some vegetables, and also some like potato thing that he fried up. That was pretty nice. I don't know what the name of it was. And because it was Mehran's birthday, we had some wine. It's a great vibe, great opportunity. Very, very happy how it turned out. And then, of course, we have to have bonfire and sit around the fire. We're able to say happy birthday to Mehran.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. To 20 years of life. Oh no, that's fucking candle broken.
And give her a cake. It was very, very nice of them.
It's the thought that counts.
You have to light it.
I'm trying. I'm doing it.
Lighting the candles was a bit difficult in such a windy area up in the mountains. About 3,000 feet, by the way, above sea level.
Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say one thing. Mehran, thank you so much for coming to Ethiopia with us. What about you, Paul? You're an amazing person. I'm so happy that I have such amazing people, like all of you in my life. Ethiopia 2025.
I am agree.
We got a great speech. If you guys remember from the other video, we got to try honey wine. On this one, I wanted to try Ethiopian moonshine. So this is called arake, it's moonshine. So everybody got to try a little bit. I don't think everybody liked it. It's a bit strong. It has also a different taste. Sometimes just like vodka is very clear. Sometimes based on where it's made, how concentrated it is and stuff like that can have different flavors. This one was a bit tough to drink. But people got a taste. As you go around Ethiopia, you need to taste these simple different things and just get an understanding. Yeah, there's a face right there. You didn't like it. They made us some tea, so ginger tea, and literally they cut out the ginger into the pot, boiled the water with it, and Those, and then like obviously you have normal tea bags, so that was fantastic actually. Everybody liked it. When you have a bonfire and you're sitting around, one of the things that you need to have is a story. So this is my opportunity to share with the group a little bit about who I am, why I'm doing the tourism, where I come from, the whole thing. So this is my story that I get to share with the group.
I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about my story and all that kind of stuff, and then I'll go through it a bit faster and then tell you guys the highlights, and then whatever questions you have, you can like feel free to ask any questions. And then if it's something I don't want to answer, I'll just tell you. So feel free to ask. I was born in a very, very small village. So when you guys came up here, you saw like a bunch of small villages and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what I was born in. And then because like my mother couldn't really take care of me, I pretty much went back and forth with my grandma's house and my mom's house. We were a bit far apart, but that was my life until about 5 years old, when my mom passed away from some sickness. And then a few months later, my grandma passed away. So in the meantime though, I had developed some back problems. Like my spine there was a bump on my back that we didn't really know what it was. And then I moved family to family because, as you guys saw, like everybody's pretty much poor. So taking in another person to take care of was quite a big challenge. So I moved from family to family. And then at some point my back got really bad. And my aunt, one of my aunts, decided that she'll take me to Addis Ababa, the capital, and take me to the government hospital and see if anything could be done. And that was also like a big challenge. Like I had to save up money, borrow, the whole thing. They took me to the Black Lion Hospital in Addis Ababa, which is the only big government hospital that could do anything. And they pretty much said, like, don't touch his back. If you touch his back, he'll die. Like, and there's no doctor that could do anything about it. So that was like kind of a devastating news for them. And so because they were, as they were leaving, they were discussing what to do about it, and they can't take me back to the village because taking care of me, it's a burden, the whole thing. They thought I was asleep, so they're discussing this. And then they decided that they would leave me at a church in Addis Ababa and leave it up to God to whatever happens. And so they decided that and just left me at a church, and they said, we'll come back soon and get you, but they didn't know that I had heard them discussing it. So I waited about an hour, and then like I pretty much just started crying. And then some people from whoever was going to the church like saw that, gave me money, gave me food, and I kept on crying. So one of the ladies walked over and said, why are you crying? You have food and money and stuff. And I told her the story and what just happened. And so she kind of decided to take care of me. So she went home, got her kids' clothing, and then she brought like some, tarp and stuff like that, made me like a makeshift home, like by the church, by the gates. And then they tried to get me within the gate, the church gates, because like you saw the other day when we went to the church, there's a compound. So if you get permission, you can stay within those compounds, and people would give you, food and stuff like that usually. So they tried to do that. That took up quite a bit of time, but they made an announcement and they allowed me to stay in there. So I was in the church for about 3 months, 4 months, I don't know. And then I got really, really sick. I don't know from what, but like maybe food poisoning or something. So they called the ambulance, and because I was about 7 or 8 at this time, the ambulance had like 2 choices. So they take you back to Black Lion or Mother Teresa's mission. So because I was very young, the guy decided to take me to Mother Teresa's mission because then they would take care of me afterwards. So that's the guess why they took me there. And Mother Teresa, they took me in, they took care of me, and I got better from whatever illness that was. And because I was young, now they became my guardians. And in the meantime, my back was really, really bad, got really bad, so that when I walked, I had to support myself up. Like I had to put my hands up so I could breathe. And after a while, one of the sisters kind of said, we don't know what to do about your back, but there's this doctor that comes on Saturdays, we'll see if he can do anything. So when it came for Saturdays, they introduced us. In the meantime, I met another kid that had the same problem as me, kind of the same age range, a little bit older than me. But we've become like brothers because we had the same problems and we were in a land that we don't know really and the whole thing. So, they introduced me to the doctor. That's Dr. Rick Hodes, the doctor you'll meet on Thursday, one of the doctors. And then he kind of like didn't know what to do, but he wanted to help us. So he'd take us to his house for Shabbat, take us out to eat something and then come back to monetary solution. And then in the meantime, he was sending our x-rays and our back pictures to doctors. And in order to have surgery in the US, one of the things was we didn't have insurance. So he thought about it and he ended up adopting us so that we can get surgery in the US and there would be insurance that could pay for it. So me and my brother had surgery in Scottish Rite in Dallas, Texas. It's one of the kids' hospitals. And that was after like 2 years of searching. That was the only hospital that would accept us. It was very bad backs. You'll see pictures on Thursday. He'll show you some. And the only reason they accepted us was as a teaching case, because it's so bad they learned from it. But we had the surgery, stayed in Dallas for like 6 months, came back to Ethiopia. Then my dad ended up adopting another kid that needed back surgery also. So I ended up taking him back to Dallas with him just to be supportive. And by then I'd spoken a little bit of English, so I spent another 9 months in Dallas. And then since then it's been back and forth. I came back to Ethiopia. Then for high school I went to a boarding school in Ohio. Then for 10th grade I jumped to a Jewish boarding school in Greensboro, North Carolina. I don't know if you guys heard about that. It's shut down now, but there was a Jewish boarding school there. So I went there for a year, and then I went down to Dallas to give a talk for my dad's work and stuff. And the family that I had surgery, that I stayed with when I had my surgery, they said, "What are you doing now?" And I said, "I'm going to this Jewish boarding school." And they happen to be Jewish, so they said, "Well, come back and live with us and go to the school that our kids go to." So did that in Dallas, went to a Jewish boarding school, finished high school in a modern Orthodox Jewish school, day school. And then during that time, what happened was we were going on March of the Living. I think most of you have done that. So I went on that, and then when I got back home, I kind of jokingly said to my dad, some of my friends are lucky they're gonna go to Israel next year. And he said, "Do you want to go?" And I said, "Yes, I would like to study a little bit of Judaism and stuff." So he said, if we can find a program we can afford and maybe with some help and stuff, we can go. So I applied to a bunch, and then I ended up going on Aardvark. So I spent a year in Israel on Aardvark, Jerusalem for 6 months. I did Adin Stanzel Center. I don't know if you guys know that one. It was pretty serious Judaic stuff. And then in Tel Aviv, hiking and having fun. So then I went back to the US for a while for school. And at some point, around the end of the school year, I kind of woke up in a panic attack of kind of realizing that the path that I was going on doesn't lead me back to Ethiopia. It was like, I was in an engineering school, I was working for a hedge fund, and that doesn't really lead back to Ethiopia. So I ended up dropping out of school to come back to Ethiopia and start something here and then see if I need to go back to the US for school and stuff. But I wanted to live in Ethiopia, so I pretty much dropped out and moved back. And that's been quite a few years now. Tourism started because of that, and been involved in a bunch of small startups in Addis, but yeah. I think that's the fastest version of the story. I'm happy to explain more about any part of the story that you guys want to hear about. Yeah.
Do you see yourself staying in Ethiopia for the rest of your life?
Yeah, no, I'm not moving out. Unless there's a few circumstances where I would, like medical or for when I have kids, my kids' education, stuff like that. But other than that, no.
Quick, which school?
In Dallas,
And is there, like, were you born into a Jewish family, or you only became Jewish because of your adopted dad?
yeah. Because of
And do you still feel like you are Jewish?
Yeah, a lot of. So the reason I wanted to go to Israel and study Judaism was, I have read a little bit of philosophy and a little bit of religion in school and stuff like that. So that I was like, well, Judaism seems to be the core for Christianity and Islam, and that kind of thing. So I wanted to understand it even deeper. So to me, whether you call yourself Muslim or Christian, it seems to be Judaism is the core. So you have to be Jewish in a way. I think sorry.
My question was along the same line. Do you practice Christianity?
No.
Or you're
I don't
just
know. Practice
somewhere
is
in
like I haven't decided on. I haven't landed on like a specific religion to be on. So one of the things that I like, anything that's good, being nice and kind and that kind of stuff. So that's what I like. Good energy kind of stuff. Like.
So you don't go to shul or church?
I go to both. When I'm in Dallas, I go to shul. When I'm in Addis, I go to church. I'm happy at both. Yeah.
So I have two questions. One, are you still in contact with the family in Dallas?
Yes.
And also, like, since your surgery, are you back fine, or do you have to like get regular checkups and stuff? How is it? Like,
No, it was one time 12-hour surgery. The recovery was about 6 to 9 months. I had to wear a brace for a year. So that, yeah. But after that, everything was fine. The Dallas family is like family to me. Like whenever I'm in the U.S., like one of the stops has to be Dallas. So like I have to spend like a week with them. And like their kids are like siblings to me. They'll come here, I'll go there.
that's so nice.
First.
What was your dad doing in Ethiopia?
Ooh, so you're here the longer version of that, but he was hired by the JDC to be the doctor for the Ethiopian Jews that were being airlifted to Israel. So he was initially first hired for 6 weeks, that kept on being extended, and then they said, okay, let's make this like, they had a clinic in Gondar and a clinic in Addis for all the Jews that were gonna go to Israel. And then when that ended, he was kind of volunteering in a lot of places, so they made, instead of just saying, okay, the Jews are gone, we're gonna leave, they said, okay, why don't we make your program something that we do in Ethiopia, so that the Jewish JDC, I don't know, Jewish Joint Distribution Committee, that's like 100-year-old Jewish organization. So they kept on helping. Yeah.
Can you tell me about your perspective about Ethiopian Jews and making Aliyah?
I don't have much of a perspective on that. To me, it seems like when they're younger, it's a good idea to take them to Israel, because then they can assimilate, then they go to the army, and then by then they're Israelis. But the parents and stuff that go, they have a very difficult time. So they have to stay within their community, and they mostly speak Amharic there also, and stuff like that. So I don't see the point of like when you're older going there, just because you lose all your social life and stuff like that. But for kids and stuff, second generations seem to be doing really well in Israel. So yeah, don't really have much of. Yep.
So your adoptive father here, did he take you back to the States with him?
Well, he
Or
lives
did he just
here.
send-
He still lives here.
He still lives here, okay.
So one of the things he wanted us to do was go to college in the U.S. So that's
I see.
why the boarding school.
Oh,
So,
okay.
he knew somebody in like a very small. It's a Quaker boarding school, by the way.
Mhm.
So, like a very small school that he knew somebody, and they gave us enough scholarship that we could afford it. And then a bunch of my other brothers went there. And then while I was there, I was visiting. He wanted to take my younger brother also to the U.S. So we visited the Jewish school, and it was so much nicer that I said, "Can I apply?" And so literally while we were there for the visit, I applied and went there
And did you ever go to school in Ethiopia?
until high school.
Until high school,
grades,
okay,
yeah.
I understand. Thank you.
A bunch of schools, jumped around a lot. Yeah.
Did you ever have any contact with your biological dad?
No, I never met my biological dad.
Yeah. Is that common? Is that quite common sometimes with Ethiopian?
It could be common. Not knowing exactly who he is maybe not as common. If you kind of have an idea of who, for my sake, even relatives, after I found them, I asked like, do you know who my father was and stuff? Like she kept it a secret. Like she didn't really tell people. My mom.
Yeah.
So.
When did you learn English?
English. So Mother Teresa's mission. When I got to Mother Teresa's mission, I really spoke Oromipa, my tribal language. And Amharic, I spoke very little, like very few words. So there I started learning Amharic. And then when my dad moved us to his house before the adoption process, then I started learning Amharic and English and kind of going to school also. So that started there, but the first time Dallas and the second trip to Dallas was pretty much the foundation for my English.
Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and obviously my art bar group, I hope you had a great time on this, and also I hope this video is a good look back and a good memory. Thank you much. Please subscribe. Let me know what you guys think, and that's it. See you next week with day 3.